Want success? I'll tell you how to get it in just a minute. Hi, I'm Rati Gorfine of Creative Calling Coaching, and I am a career and ADHD coach who specializes in helping creatives and entrepreneurs with focus problems follow through, finish things, get seen, and make a living doing what they love. And this week, we're talking about commitments. Making commitments is the secret sauce needed to create success. Now, before I dive in a little deeper with regard to that matter, I just want to bring your attention to the description of the video where you'll see a link. And that link is to subscribe to my newsletter. And I'm going to get into the goodies you will receive when you do that towards the end of this video. So, let's talk. Success follows completion. That's just how it is. I'm talking about success in relation to career and work, okay? There are different kinds of success, all right? But when we're talking about the success related to making a living, it usually entails getting paid to solve a problem, which means you're finishing something, okay? A lot of us use our distractibility as an excuse for not finishing things, or our diagnosis as an excuse for not finishing things. And that's a very dangerous path to go down, because it's a reason, but it's not an excuse. Because if you know how to maneuver with your strengths, you can find your unique way to completion. But what do you need in order to create completion? As I said, we're talking about commitment. Think of commitment as a container that you put something in. You create the container of commitment, and that involves the strategy, the action plan, and the deadline. That's the lid of the container. So you shake it all up, you open the lid, and you have success. Okay. So without the container of commitment, saying no matter how I feel, or no matter what happens, I am going to accomplish such and such by a certain date, or I am going to meditate for at least 3 minutes today. If you don't have that commitment, you can't count on, let's put it that way. You cannot count on succeeding at that goal. That's the thing about commitment. So there are a lot of folks who don't like to make commitments, right? And they're a little commitment phobic in one area or another. And again, we're talking about commitments you make to yourself today with regard to your own worldly success in life. And we need to build up our commitment tolerance. In terms of commitment tolerance, obviously, that means start small, right? What's one promise you can keep to yourself today, no matter what? Because the thing about a commitment is it says that no matter what happens, no matter what throws you off or triggers you, you are going to do such and such thing by the end of the day, for instance, no matter what. See, a commitment is what's needed when cultivating stamina of any kind. And I guess you could call it grit. Developing grit is the ability to fulfill a commitment no matter what. You know, you might get derailed by something. You might get an email that you don't expect, and it's upsetting. Well, okay. What do you need to do? If you know that there is a bigger picture, and that bigger picture is in the form of a commitment you've made to yourself, and because of a discouraging email, you just don't feel like doing it. The solution-focused question then becomes, how can I follow through on this commitment when I don't feel like it? How? Well, I could call a friend and ask and tell them I'm going to do it. Ask them to check in on me to make sure I did. Maybe I need to ask them for some encouragement. Maybe I need to go do it right now while I'm thinking of it. And then I can lie down on the bed and cry. I don't know. Right? No matter what, you are fulfilling a promise to yourself. And here's the problem with breaking promises to yourself. It's corrosive. It is corrosive. It actually starts to weaken your ability to complete things, breaking promises. I think that's probably somewhat self-evident. I don't know. But, people hire me as a coach all the time. I'll give you the case, like 2 instances. One client hires me as a coach, and she's really struggling with time management and finishing things. And she signs the coaching agreement. She shows up for each session. Having paid for it helps. Having paid for it in advance helps. Fast forward, she's in a new job. And she has some sense of time and how to structure her time. And she's feeling a lot better about herself. Now you have somebody else who hires me as a coach. Same issues. They don't find that they can finish anything. They can't get anywhere on time. They don't have a sense of time. They want a job, but they don't know how to find one. And let's just say they have the identical set of issues. But the difference is they're willing to use their limitations as an excuse rather than put their commitment to the coaching above those limitations. So they come to a session, they don't do the homework, they feel ashamed, they don't show up. Always show up, even if you don't do the homework. They don't show up. Fast forward anyway, they quit after about 10 sessions, and halfway through their program, whatever. And I have to assume they're in pretty much the same place as when they started, still floundering around. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I was just the wrong coach for them. But I have seen people move through a coaching program often enough and attain what it is that they came in for, to know that that commitment works. And, it's funny because I got an email just the other day from a parent who was, of course, I couldn't really help them. They wanted to know what was going on with their child in these coaching sessions they'd paid for. And the fact is, this particular client was not a child. This particular client is a grown-up and stopped showing up. And I went after them to an extent, but ultimately it's their responsibility. I have to assume from the email and the father is saying he can't get an answer and the lack of boundaries that was very apparent in the whole situation, that this individual's in pretty much the same place. Okay. So outside of coaching, I recommend creating accountability if you have a hard time keeping promises to yourself. You can find an accountability partner. That's how I became a coach. Back when I was trying to be a stand-up comic and an actress, I knew that company was stronger than will, and so I created support groups around myself. And I gave myself a place to show up to every week. And we would make promises to each other to get certain actions done. And out of the groups I started, amazing things were created. It ultimately was inspiring enough to me to actually do this professionally. All right. Ultimately, people come to coaching because they want to learn how to keep their commitments to themselves. Fair enough. And quite frankly, in the long run, my job is to coach myself out of a job, in a sense, right? I mean, there's always more to learn. There's always more to grow into. However, if you are not at a place 6 months into coaching where you're able to keep some promises to yourself and you can't look back at some quantified goals and say, oh my God, I hit that goal. I succeeded. I did that. Then either the coach is not right for you or not a very good coach, or you're not doing the work, right? Because you have created a beautiful container of commitment in that relationship. Ultimately, you want to learn those skills for yourself, but I think you can practice them in small ways. A good way to do it, I would say, is to create little streaks. Say you want to start working out. Well, you might tell yourself, okay, I am going to exercise for 5 minutes, 2 days in a row. That's a tiny little streak. That is what I call under-promising, so that you can over-deliver and knock it out of the park and feel good about yourself and want more of that, okay? So in training yourself to keep your promises to yourself, start small, go slow. Start low, go slow. I think that's actually the marijuana slogan at most of the dispensaries where marijuana is legal. And the same is true with commitments. Start low, go slow, because you will build up your commitment stamina by doing that. Okay. So in summation, quitting is corrosive. Quitting is corrosive to the soul, to the self-esteem, you name it. It is critical to build commitment tolerance in order to succeed. Ta-da. I hope you got something out of that. If you did, I hope you share this video, like it, whatever, make a comment. And now I again want to refer you to that link in the newsletter. If you find these little live streams stimulating, inspiring, I'm hoping you'll subscribe for a couple of reasons. You'll always be in the loop with things that I'm doing and new blogs and ideas and tools that I'm putting out. And you'll be receiving a free gift. One of the things that makes it hard for people to even make a commitment is their inability to decide what to do. For this reason, I have devised a gift that I call it is my 3-step method of deciding your next step in life, of creating your next step in life. It is my runway method of decision making, essentially. It will take you through the stages and the data step by step so that you can decide and commit to what matters most to you right now. So if you think that could be helpful, please click the link and subscribe so that you can get that gift. Thank you again for tuning in. I'll be here next Thursday, and have a great weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.